Okay, quick music disclaimer here. I do not own the rights to this music, which belongs to the rightful owner, who is the intoxicating mind of Dr. Frankenstein. So he made my intro and my outro, and I hope you guys enjoy. Check them out on Spotify and YouTube, and no copyright infringement is intended. Have a good day.
Clear choice of good versus evil, of right versus wrong.
Twisted Tales.
Tonight at 10, a woman in Winston County pleading for answers to explain how her mother and father were murdered in their home 20 years ago. Police, at this point, still have not arrested anyone. Josh Gant talking with that couple's daughter tonight.
I miss Mom and Dad so much.
The wounds are still fresh for Melinda Thrasher Haynes. Time hasn't healed them yet after someone shot and killed her parents, Elmer and Joette Thrasher, in December 2001 at their home just off of busy Highway 195 near Haleyville. Melinda, who's deaf, tells us her parents were very giving people.
I've been praying every day. Think about them.
Our cameras were there in 2001. At the time, the living room window was covered with plastic after investigators say the killer approached the house from the outside and opened fire with a shotgun, hitting Mrs. Thrasher in the head. The sheriff's office says the killer then went around the house and through the carport before shooting Mr. Thrasher in the chest. Deputies were first alerted to the situation after they received an open 911 call. When they tried calling back, the line was busy.
Why did you have to take their lives?
2 decades later, a memorial now sits outside the Thrashers' home. Their son-in-law believes someone knows what happened. He says they owned a furniture store and service station. He feels that's why they were targeted.
This that happened to them was just hate and robbery. Because somebody thought they just had a large amount of cash.
We're told several investigations have taken place over the years with no result. Despite that, the family is not giving up the search for justice.
I know God knows who did it, and God will punish them.
If you have any information, the family and investigators are pleading that you come forward, even if it's a small piece of info. That info could help solve this 20-year-old mystery.
Welcome back to Twisted Tales, folks. Hope everybody's having a wicked long weekend here. Back to work tomorrow. Because it was Thanksgiving here in Canada, and I hope the ones that didn't have to work enjoyed it. So, tonight's episode, it's going to be a viewer request, and this one's from my friend Brandy. So, tonight's tale, we're going to talk about Joette and Elmer Thrasher. Now, on the night of December 10th, 2001, a chilly cold night, just like a night to stay home, right? Now, Joette was sitting on the couch. This was in the family home on Alabama 195, located between Haleyville and Double Springs, Alabama. The home is located just across from a high-traffic highway and the couple's business. It was Joette Furniture. Now, Joette's husband, Elmer, he was near the back of the house where their 6-year-old granddaughter had been sleeping. It was around 9 p.m. An unknown incident had occurred. Now, this caused Joette to dial 911. So, before the phone could connect through to operators, a man with a gun shot the couple's plate glass window and shot Joette in the head with a single gunshot wound to the back of the head. Shortly after hearing the gunshot, Elmer headed into the living room to find Joette dead. Then, before the guy could even blink, the gunman fatally shot Elmer in the chest with a shotgun. It's almost as if they were ambushed. Now, the couple's granddaughter had been found. She was safe, but she couldn't offer up any details to investigators. Some feel that she just blocked that part out of her mind. And the sheriff that was assigned to the case, Ed Townsend, He has his own theories about how things shook down. Townsend made mention of the 911 call, like right off the bat. So there were 7 seconds between the time Joette finished dialing 911 to the time that the operator picked up the line. Now, her murder had happened that fast, in 7 seconds, and nobody can even think, like, why anyone would commit such a shitty crime. I mean, everybody loved Elmer and Joette. The couple's daughter, Melinda Haynes, she says that she can't even understand why this had happened to her parents. Now, even her husband, Patrick Haynes, he made mention that he'll never forget his in-laws. And he remembers that the phone call, like, the first time that he got it, was that Elmer had caught someone trying to break into the residence. And Elmer's home was burglarized on more than one occasion, when the couple were traveling out of town and whatnot, right? Now, Elmer had recently installed video surveillance, but on the night the couple were killed, all the camera systems were down. Now, Patrick was getting ready to assist Elmer with building a new porch to the home, but instead he had to go to the family, and now he has to grieve and deal with everything else, right? It's not fair. I mean, nobody asked for this to happen, right? As the police started to kick off the investigation, they went through the house, just looking for clues, trying to find anything to help solve the case. They spent hours checking through clues, answering hotline tips, and still after all these years, like since 2001 till now, this case is still unsolved. And the only thing that was taken from the residence was a briefcase. Some believe that it did contain some money, and the briefcase was found years later, discarded on the side of the road in Franklin County. Now, the police interviewed hundreds of people. They took the time to investigate everything, look through every little tip. And the case is talked about all the time. Police kind of feel like a little bit razzled, like annoyed, I guess, because they haven't even solved this case yet. And some of the family believe that the investigation had a few mistakes. Too many officers through the house. That could also lead to evidence being scattered around, trampling of evidence, footprints, shit like that. Making it harder to grab fingerprints and stuff. And there's also some strange doings that transpired around there, surrounding the couple's murder. There was a man named Randy Whitfield. He was a local man. And he had just up and disappeared 2 days before the double murder. Now, could it just be some bad timing maybe, or were the two cases linked to each other? Now, some of the townsfolk believe that Randy didn't disappear on his own free will. And now that all there is to figure out is if the cases are linked, or it was just purely just a coincidence. And it is known to police that the Thrasher family and the Whitfield family, they knew each other. Maybe not well, but, that's a little unclear. And Elmer's brother-in-law, Jimmy Cummings, he said, quote, "We have been on searches with police, even looking for Randy's body. We're all kind of in this together. We want to find out what happened to him. We just want to know what happened to Elmer and Joette as well." And the family and police departments, they've been on this case since December 2001. So, that's a long time. But, I do get investigating every little thing. If you get a lead, you go with that, right? And you just keep trying to solve this case. And since this case has been, so ongoing, even some of the local residents, they haven't even given up any hope either. And some people have even taken this case into their own hands, and they still look for answers. A doctor, Joe Teal, he's worked with the families, and he kind of he's looking at getting outside assistance. He had this to say, quote, "All I do is enable and encourage and connect the dots for other people to act on. No one can do anything of great importance by themselves." And the Thrasher and Whitfield residents only lay about 5 or 6 miles apart. Now, the evening that Randy disappeared was December 8th, 2001. His mobile home was on Winston 478 near the Haleyville Airport, just north of the airport runway. Now, Randy was just known around town to fix up cars in his spare time, farming equipment, like tractors, tinkering with stuff, right? And, he'd fix stuff around the community. Then it's noted that after he worked on some vehicles that he went back to his place just to chill out for the remainder of that evening. And nobody really knows heads or tails about what happened to him much after that. And it's like Whitfield just up and vanished. And 39 years old at the time, like vanishing out of nowhere, like never to be seen again. And after the Thrasher couple was murdered, like it wasn't until like a few weeks later that anyone even had a thought about this guy. Nobody heard from him, nobody saw him. Even in that time frame, like people just began wanting some answers. And his mother, Virginia Horsley, she'd made a call to him before he went missing. Like, Whitfield was a mobile home escort, so he was gone here and there periodically, like days at a time. So this is kind of why nobody thought his disappearance was a thing. Like, he would transport mobile homes from one destination to the other. So it wasn't overly uncommon for the Whitfield man to go long periods without talking to each other, right? Like, the family just checked in with each other and shit. And she never suspected him as missing, like, until her son, he was named Calvin, he brought it up that he hadn't heard from him in quite some time. As the family grew concerned, they ended up going to his trailer. The trailer was left unlocked, and they found his poor dog, but he had no food or water. And the family knew that he would never leave his beloved pet like that. And that right there is when they knew something didn't add up. Now, they realized his son was missing probably 2 days shy of a 3-week period, with Christmas now upcoming. And Christmas was actually her son's favorite holiday. And Christmas presents were found in his trailer as well. They were all wrapped up, ready to go. And the family said it wasn't like him to just up and leave. And there is kind of a little bit of hearsay that he might have been abducted or what have you, right? But police are still unable to find any answers, like I said. They know that somebody definitely knows something, and they want these questions answered for the family. Mostly just to set their minds at ease, and to get this case solved. I mean, this case haunts, a lot of people. And at the time, like, it really wasn't uncommon for Randy to leave the shop unlocked. But everything was still intact. No items were found missing, so a break-in was very unlikely. Now, the only charges that were laid in this case were against a Haleyville man who had left his vehicle and his car hauler on the Whitman property. Because there's little evidence and barely any information going on in this case to lead to the arrest of anyone. In both these cases, mind you. But the family still holds on to hope that their son's going to be found one day. Over the years, like, the family, they pretty much heard every story imaginable about their missing family member. Like, one story includes that he was taken to Mississippi and held hostage for 2 days, and then he was killed. Another one that he's buried some 80 feet below ground. I mean, that would take a lot of work to do. But to this day, police departments still bounce shit off of each other, like, to try and get leads to solve the case on this disappearance. Even so that police even reached out to the growing community, right? Like, get all that news out there to the surrounding areas. And eventually, this did gain them nationwide status. And, like, that's the way to do it. Just get everything out there. And just don't indulge too much information on the cases, right? Because if the public finds out certain details of the cases, like, there's only certain aspects that police should know, and the killer, right? And it's what happens when you try to figure out these cases. That's how police work goes, right? And Attorney General Troy King, he ended up forming a cold case unit, and this would be designated to the investigation and the prosecution to help solve difficult unsolved criminal cases. And this is ongoing throughout Alabama. So King said, quote, "This unit will be exclusively dedicated to helping those who have not yet seen justice done for the horrible acts committed against them." And I guess that wraps things up, folks. I guess that's pretty much it. And this case is still unsolved today. And it just seems like they haven't really gotten any further than when they investigated this case on the first day. And I do hope that some questions do get answered for the family. Like, they need that shit. So, I appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning back in. I'll see you guys here shortly.
A cold case in Haleyville is approaching its 20th anniversary. Now the family of that couple killed on December 10th, 2001 is hoping talking about the case will bring new leads and closure.
Joette and Elmer Thrasher's home sits right here off Highway 195 across the street from the furniture store they owned. The family believes someone out there knows something and are hoping even after 20 years, someone comes forward with information.
I just fell apart. I mean, I love my mom, love my dad. Still get emotional now.
Michael and his sister Melinda are reminded of their beloved mom and dad every day.
The murder will never be forgotten.
They put up this memorial in their late parents' front yard.
I miss Mom and Dad so much.
The family is still trying to piece together what happened the evening of December 10th, 2001. The home had a security camera, but on that night, it wasn't working.
Well, the way the investigators told us was that, my mother, she was shot through this window right here. She was sitting on the couch.
It's believed the person who committed the crime came around the side and entered through the door that leads to the garage where Elmer's truck is still parked.
Right here was the sofa that she was on. It was right over here, and then Dad was right here on this area. They assumed that he probably got shot as they come through that door, as they knocked that door down.
A briefcase was taken from the kitchen counter. It all happened while Michael's 5-year-old niece was asleep in the other room.
As far as we know, she didn't really know of anything that happened.
A 911 call was made from the home that night. The caller never spoke before hanging up. Now leads come every now and then, but so far, nothing panning out.
I don't know anything anybody could have done that bad to deserve what Mom and Dad got. Because if they needed anything, all they had to do is ask.
And you said you didn't think this person was a stranger. It seemed like they knew their way around the house.
I do think that, I think they actually knew my dad. I don't think it was a stranger.
Bullet holes are still in the wall. Joette and Elmer's Christmas tree is still standing. Each holiday, a bit lonelier.
What makes it even worse when you don't know who did it, you could be talking to that person every day and never know it. That was always the scary part.
Now, anyone who has any information should contact the Winston County Sheriff's Office.
Twisted Tales.